The storm specialist Mike Seidel is live in North Myrtle Beach, where conditions are starting to take a turn. Mike.
Good afternoon, Jane. We have made our way up the South Carolina coast, starting this morning at Folly Beach. We had some pretty gusty winds, some blowing sand, and we had a little bit of rain. One little squall came through. We just had a pretty hefty squall here in the past half an hour. I'd say the winds gusted to about 30 miles an hour, but these things come in fast and they're gone, as you can see on the radar. Let's go to that first, and you'll notice there's nothing now upwind. Remember, everything rotates around low pressure in the northern hemisphere counterclockwise, and you can see the center, the blob of rain, even lightning bolts out over the Gulf Stream and about 100 miles off to the southeast of Charleston, South Carolina. The storm is not moving very fast with the 2 o'clock update north at 3 miles an hour. We expect it to start moving a little bit faster overnight, and all of the global models, the hurricane models, the HWRF, they're all bringing the center on shore tomorrow morning, some before sunrise, sun right at sunrise, somewhere on the South Carolina coast. So that means the worst of it is going to be along and to the right, which means part of the South Carolina coast, part of the North Carolina coast. And that's why we have that tropical storm warning up from the South Santee River up to Surf City, North Carolina. That would include Wrightsville Beach, down to Carolina Beach, and then in South Carolina where we are, Atlantic Beach, Myrtle Beach, down towards Pawleys Island. Those are the areas in the watch. Winds may gust upwards of 40 to 45, maybe even 50 miles an hour. Right now we've got high tide here at North Myrtle Beach, 4:38 coming up just around the corner. And then a low tide overnight, another high tide tomorrow morning. So that would be the tide of concern. And the Hurricane Center at this point saying a storm surge potentially on top of normally dry ground of 1 to 2 feet. So we've got some beach here with a high tide. We're getting a little bit of a cut there with erosion, but then we have a really beautiful dune line, and there are the properties, the hotels back there. So no potential issues, no issues with the water getting into homes and buildings. There may be some ponding on the highways because this blob of rain is going to come in and then head northwest up towards Interstate 95 through, say, Fayetteville and those areas. So if you're traveling I-95 tomorrow, I'd say good advice, keep an eye on the radar because you may go through some gusty winds and heavy rain, what's left of Chantal. Depending on how quickly it moves, some of the models don't move it very quickly and they just kind of dissipated and it washes out. So that's one issue. But the main impact by far is going to be the heavy rain, Jane, localized flooding. In fact, several counties in North Carolina and South Carolina, Horry County here, Georgetown also, Brunswick County in North Carolina, now under flash flood watches, or I should say flood watches, through tomorrow evening. So those are the areas that will get the soaking rain. Maybe somebody gets 4 or 5 inches of rainfall, and the ground is relatively dry in the long term because they're in at least some type of a drought in this part of the Carolinas. Once again, a look at the surf right now, and we've got 4 to 5 footers. Some of the buoys offshore have been up to 8 to 9 feet. Water temperature is in the low 80s, so it's very, very warm, as you would expect here in early July. And we'll be on top of this during this special programming until 8 tonight. And Jane will be back on the air first thing in the morning at 6 a.m. Eastern to show you what's going on. By that point, it may be in, and we may only be dealing with some residual trailing squally bands and some gusty winds, but the winds eventually will go offshore. And that's great for surfing. The surfers will love that. Offshore wind will clean up these sets. It's been more of a wash tub today along the South Carolina coast.
And yet there's still people out there on the beach, Mike. I see there's a lifeguard on duty behind you. What's been the message to anybody who has been heading to the beach? It is 4th of July weekend after all, and now we have a tropical storm sitting right off the coast.
Well, I'm sure he's keeping people in. They're not allowing people to go out. That was what was going on at Folly Beach. And as I showed you this morning on Fox Weather, most people were only up maybe to their waist. Not only do you have the dangerous surf, but you have the rip currents. And we also have a pretty good longshore drift because of the nature of the storm. So you go out here and you're frolicking in the surf, and before you know it, you're about a block down the beach. That's not an unusual occurrence on the east coast of the U.S. So you can see the surf rolling in. These are pretty decent waves. I mean, nothing like we would see from a stronger tropical storm or a hurricane. Winds here on the coast have gusted, as I mentioned, about 25 to 30 miles an hour in the rain squalls. But right now, you got a sustained wind of maybe 12 to 15 miles an hour, taking a bit of an edge off the heat with the sun back out here and temperatures in the mid 80s in the Myrtle Beach area. So we're gonna keep it here. We're gonna watch it through this evening, come back in the morning and see what we have. Hopefully everything goes as planned, and we just have to deal with some ponding and some localized flooding, and then we're done with this. And as I said earlier, let's hope and pray this is the worst we have to deal with all season. Some tropical storms, but no major hurricanes.
Oh,
a lot
absolutely.
Of people on edge.
We will certainly be watching. Mike Seidel, thanks for the report. We'll be checking back in with you again on the beaches in North Myrtle Beach. All right, right now, Tropical Storm Chantal is inching closer towards that Carolina coast. And take a look at this camera. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 79 degrees. Those winds are breezy, chopping up the waves a bit. And that's where we find our Fox Weather Storm Specialist, Mike Seidel, live in North Myrtle Beach this afternoon. Conditions deteriorating, though we get some pockets of sunshine every once in a while out there, Mike.
We've got some sunshine now. We've had sunshine in and out for the past about an hour or so. We had a squall before that. But look at the red flag up here, and look how it is just blowing around. Boy, and here comes the water. I thought the tide was going out, but I guess not. The red flag up there on the lifeguard stand. Meanwhile, spin on around here, and we'll show you what's going on as far as the beach goes. Looking down the coast, you can see the spray in the distance. The surf is up as we continue to monitor that. And we'll go back out and look at the surf right here. Let's go this way so we can lose the clowns on the beach here. The winds have been gusting 20 to 25 miles an hour. The temperature right now about 80, as Jane said. The water temperature is also 80 degrees, so it's very warm. We expect this to make landfall sometime early tomorrow morning, probably around 2 to 4 a.m., and then it comes on shore. And as Brian mentioned, the rainfall is going to go inland, and if you believe the latest Terra model, goes up over Fayetteville and into the Raleigh-Durham area by late afternoon and early evening. So that's how we stand right now. Jane, back to you.
Yeah, definitely, Mike. Watching this storm very closely, but the Carolinas, they certainly know how to deal with a storm of this magnitude. Mike Seidel, thanks. We'll be checking back in with you again. We've got a lot to cover. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We have our Fox Weather Storm Specialist, Mike Seidel, standing by with the conditions starting to turn. Mike, one thing I've noticed in the last hour or two, winds starting to pick up on those gauges.
They've been sustained through the afternoon, about 18, 19 miles an hour. Backed off a little bit now. We just had a squall come through. Boy, it was quick. These things are moving at about 35 miles an hour, and they're very thin in nature. You can look on the radar right now, and we're on the coast, and look how far inland it's moved in about 20 minutes. So they are moving fast, rotating in, and now we're dry again. The visibility has come back up. We can see the pier there. Looking south, when the rain came in, everybody headed off the beach. We got a couple of guys out there fishing in the surf. And speaking of the surf, let's take a look at that, because it is nothing to deal with today. They were keeping swimmers basically at waist height because of the surge. Not so much the surge, but the rip currents and the longshore drift. We've got a little bit of an erosion here, not too much. We lost a little bit of sand, but that'll come back naturally over the course of time. So we're going to be watching Chantal come in. Let's go to the radar as I try to keep the hat on. And what I've done is I've measured how far the outer band is, that solid area of rainfall, to where we are. It's about 70 miles away to the south. East, southeast. So it won't be long before that comes in. It's going to be later on this evening, and the Hurricane Center has it on shore by about 2 o'clock Eastern, plus or minus. So by the time we get back on the air here tomorrow morning, just before sunrise, the bulk of the rain will probably be gone through here up into North Carolina, then heading off to the north and west. And by this time tomorrow, what's left of Chantal, depression or just a remnant low, will be up over the Raleigh-Durham area. That's the expectation right now, or at least as far as the rainfall goes, Jane.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it'll be scattered at times, but I think this is tropical rain. And so we're going to see the opportunity that those downpours could quickly overflow and lead to some flooding concerns, not only through the overnight, but into tomorrow. So it's been an interesting one to watch. I don't think it's really caught us off guard, right? We kind of expect this with a setup like this right off the Carolina coast. Maybe some slight intensification, but not by much. And truly, and Mike, I think you'd agree with me, it's not the type of intensification that would change the impact of what people are going to experience as we go through the day on Sunday.
No, not if it goes from 45 to 50 miles an hour. It doesn't really change the impact. It's really mostly about the rain and then the impact The indirect impact is bad beach weather. Today wasn't horrible. Down at Folly, where we started, the sun came out after a little bit of a morning shower. A little squall line came through. I wouldn't even call it a squall line. And today we got here, we had a shower, then the sun was out, in and out for the past several hours. Now we've had a shower, and it's clouded up now for good, or for the most part, but still some brightening in the overcast. And then we'll see how much rain we get out of the system later tonight into the early hours of Sunday morning. Some areas may pick up 3 or 4 inches of rain where we have the big blob, the center, come over, and that's why we have the flood watches out for several counties here in North Carolina and here in South Carolina, including Horry, the county we're in, Myrtle Beach, and also Georgetown, and then up north in North Carolina, Brunswick County, which includes Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach, with the tropical storm warning going as far north as Surf City, North Carolina.
Well, you know, Tropical Storm Chantal coming in to put a damper on some of our 4th of July holiday plans, but it looks like some folks behind you are still trying to make the most of it. So Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel will be checking in with you again soon there in North Myrtle Beach. Oh, not the hat. Oh, not the hat. He's got it. He's got it. We're good.
I got it.
There's Chantal taking it. All right, well, the Lone Star State cannot catch a break. Is live on the beach in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, as folks are still out there, and I see a couple people behind you, Mike, getting into the water.
Enjoying the warm surf temperatures, Jane, of 80 degrees. They're not going in too far because it is a bit risky. We've got the high surf, we've got the rip current issues, and we got the longshore drift. And also keep in mind the lifeguards went off duty at 5:30 Eastern. So right now we don't have any guarded beaches, just a few folks in the water, a few people in the surf down there looking towards the pier, looking off to the north, and up to the north. It looks like there may be a shower way up there, but at this point, it's been fairly dry since we got here about 4 hours ago, 3.5 to 4 hours ago. We've had a couple of quick showers, and that's been about it. But the deal is that big area of rain is going to come at us overnight tonight, expecting landfall sometime in the middle of the night, early Sunday morning, and once it gets inland, it will start to weaken. In fact, the official forecast has it down to a depression by about midday tomorrow. So it's about the rain. We'll have some wind gusts, potentially 45 to 50 miles an hour in those squalls on the north side, on the right side, and that would include areas here up towards Wrightsville Beach, where they're getting some rain right now in Brunswick County, the Wilmington area. That's one of the counties, including here in Georgetown and also Horry counties, where we have those flood warnings or those flood watches up. There could be some flood warnings, flash flood warnings. We'll see how that shakes out. And that big blob of rain is going to come right up over the Sand Hills, the coastal plain, and into the Raleigh-Durham area. That's the expectation by about this time tomorrow. So if you're driving home from the 4th and you're on I-95 or those roads in that area, Fayetteville, even Florence, South Carolina, up towards the Rocky Mountain area into Raleigh-Durham on I-40, there could be some heavy rain if you happen to hit the core of what's left of Chantal as you're driving on through. Jane?
Yeah, I think there definitely could be some slowdowns as all the folks are headed back westbound from their vacations this weekend. So, you know, Chantal definitely putting a damper on some of those plans that a lot of people look forward to. But thankfully, this is the type of storm. You know, I was talking to an Horry County emergency management official, and he said it's kind of like that dress rehearsal, right? You start to think about how we can better prepare for what is still a long season ahead of us, but you stay vigilant and you stay on top of these threats. So, Mike, thanks for the report there on the beaches. We'll be checking back in again soon. Now to Texas.